Welcome back to No One Is Coming. The answer is you. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs, and today on this episode, we are talking about creation. As a transformational coach, as a transformational being, I see the power of creation and how creation, not only in life, but in our mind, can actually create our reality. So, if you want to know the power of creation and how pottery can change your life, let's dive in. In a world where we often find ourselves waiting for someone to come and save us, it's time to embrace one powerful truth. I hate to tell you this, but no one is coming. The answer is you. Welcome to the podcast that empowers you to take charge of your life and unleash your true potential. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. So, if you're ready to embark on a journey full of self-discovery, growth, and actually take responsibility for your life, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. Now let's rock and roll. So hello, and welcome back. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs. I'm a transformational life coach and a transformational being. I'm a public speaker for the Being Movement. And in today's episode, this is really interesting. Last week, if you heard, and if you don't, go back to the last episode, we talked about self-creation. And today I want to talk about creation and learning. Learning through creation, creation of learning, and every combination that you see of these words. And the reason is we're going to connect the external learning, the external growth that we're having, the external creation to our inner world. Because it's all about self-empowerment, self-creation, and creating your reality. But we're going to dive in and we're going to see the impact that we have once we look outwards and create something external, and the depth. And we're going to go through not only the actual creation, but we're going to go through the depth of the work that we create in our mind. So how does this work? Well, I'm sure you've been there. I've been there many times. My clients go through this. We all go through this. We're human. We're spiritual beings in a human experience. Every so often we find ourselves, we wake up and we're like, I'm stuck in a rut. We're just going through the motions day after day, spinning the wheels. And it's like we're stuck in a cage like that rat on the spinning wheel. And we don't know the way out. So what I'm offering, what's on hand, is this powerful antidote. It's called creation and learning. And the reason for this is because once we engage in any creative experience, anything new, we're going to dive a little bit more into what exactly goes on in the brain. But once we pursue the new knowledge, then we open ourselves to growth. And once we open ourselves to growth in one area in our life, we automatically somehow miraculously open ourselves to other various fields and areas, and we kind of see this expansion, this innovation feeling, and it creates a deeper sense of fulfillment. So the importance of creation. When I say creation, it's it's almost like godlike, right? But it really is. It's bringing something forward that wasn't there before. So it doesn't matter if it's a learning skill, or if you're writing a story, if you're painting a picture, something artistic, if you're cooking a new dish that you've never cooked before, it's starting a garden, it's fixing something that you've never dealt with. It's just anything that you create anew. It could be starting your own journal. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be new to you. And just the act of creation allows us to express ourselves, to look deeper, to evolve, to experience a new set of emotions and skills. And once we start pouring our souls into whatever it is that we're doing, I don't know if about you, but when I'm not a very good cook, I'm not a very good chef, But every so often, my kids have a birthday coming up, and they have actually now July, August. They have one coming up, one in July and the other August, and I'm supposed to make their cake. And when I go into, and I don't make cakes very often, but when I make that cake for them, there's a sense of intention that's poured into that dish. And it's a form of communication. It's a form of love. It's a form of expression. And that expands our energy fields into a new way of being, a new way of creating ourselves. So engaging in any activity that is new to you, that provides you not only a sense of creativity, excitement, maybe a little fear if you're doing something that's more publicly involved, like some people would do a video or post a new post and feel very exposed. And that's amazing. That's creation. You're creating yourself as a public image in the public eye. And that, aside from the excitement and the fear, it also, in a weird way, provides you a sense of calmness. It's a sense of peace, and it's a sense of satisfaction, right? Don't you agree that when you're doing something that's really risky and you've never done it before, somewhere deep inside you, you're really satisfied and proud of yourself just for doing it, just for pushing yourself? So that's what I'm talking about. Another thing that creation and learning and growth allow you to experience is a skill of problem solving, because you're doing and dealing with new things. And just by simply the process of creating something new, even if it's journaling, just that, like, I'm saying this from experience because I'm not a very quote unquote good journaler, if that's a word. I don't journal well, meaning it just doesn't flow to me as I think other people that are more in the journaling field might experience. But it still requires me to cope with a new challenge. And it requires my mind to think differently and find innovative ways to express myself. And simply by experiencing that, Joe Dispenza calls it fire and wire. We fire and wire new neurotransmitters, and we enable ourselves to break the rut that we were talking about in the beginning of the episode. Now let's go deeper into what it means to not only create, but create something that is new to us. So I'm sure you've heard about it, and I'm sure you know this, but lifelong learning, and I remember when I was in school, I was in acting school, and I was an actress for many, many years, but I've always been in some kind of educational form. Like I was always in a class, in a course, learning new things. And I remember one time I was finishing this 2-year program, and I immediately signed up for the following one and for the next one. And my teacher told me, he said, "Ofri, don't be a professional student. Go act, go do." And I took that, but I have to say, nowadays, I think he was wrong. I think we should be a professional student. We should evolve and learn forever, because it keeps our mind sharp. Because it keeps us on our toes. It opens doors for us to new opportunities. It challenges us. It keeps our brain, and it keeps our skills, and it keeps our muscles growing. And it could be emotional muscles, it could be social muscles, it could be cognitive muscles, and it pushes us out of the comfort zone. So embrace that awkward feeling when you're doing something that's new and that's unknown. Whether it's learning a new language, my sister-in-law just picked up painting, and I love her for it, and she's been getting really good. It could be picking up a musical instrument. It could be anything and any age. It could be just taking an online course. It could be as simple and as basic and as easy and not requiring too much money or too much hassle with time or travel and so forth. Just find something you're passionate about and go learn it, go do it, and evolve. Just evolve as a human being. And we don't know how it's going to backfire in a good way, like how those skills are going to be used and implemented in your business, in your career, in your relationship with your parenting skills. And you'll see that it does overflow. And that's the brilliance of growing, learning, and creating. So now to the practical stuff. How can we do that? How can we incorporate more creation, more learning, more external expansion, we'll call it, in our lives? So here are some practical tips for you that I jotted down, and you can see whatever works for you. You can take them all, take one or two, but take something and go crazy. So first of all, we need to set aside the time. And that is like the number one thing. If you don't set aside the time for your creation, for your being in creation, then it just won't happen, because life is stronger. Like the automatic hassles, the reactions to everyday life, it's just going to be way, way more powerful and stronger than you will have to push, because you're already experiencing something new. And your body, your system would be like, no, I don't want to go there. This is getting out of my comfort zone. So unless you really set aside time for it, it's not going to happen. So find a specific time each week and do your creative pursuits, whatever they may be. Whether it's the learning activities, whatever it is, just be consistent, because consistency is the key, and setting aside the time will just help you. It'll just be more easy to be consistent and integrate these habits into your life. The second thing that I would advise you is to start small, baby steps. Just don't take, if you want to pick up running, don't start with, the 40K marathon or 42. Don't go all in, begin small, do baby steps, literally baby steps. Starts with walks, then do like a 5-minute run, a 10-minute run, 15-minute run. And then each day you can learn, expand, and you'll see that the fire and wire, the neurotransmitters will be like, I want more of this. This is getting comfortable for me. The third thing that I would highly recommend is, because you're starting something new, because it's unfamiliar, because it might be uncomfortable, try to attach a positive feedback to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're deciding to, let's say you're taking on a marathon, or you want to create, you want to bake something, or you're taking on a painting class, whatever it is that you're doing. Let's say you're starting a painting class, or you're starting a course on, architecture, whatever, a new language, and that might be tricky. So if you say, I'm doing this every Wednesday from 4 to 5, I'm learning Japanese, and at 5 o'clock, I'm having a Japanese tea on the balcony, and I'm putting on my favorite music for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. Do like a little ritual that gives you a positive incentive to do whatever it is that you're doing. And you can take this tip and do it with anything that's uncomfortable or that requires you to stretch a little bit and get out of your comfort zone. Always use a positive incentive in the beginning or at the end of that activity. So remember that one. Next thing is embracing failure. Now, we've talked about this many, many, many times, because whatever it is that you're doing that's new, you will fail. It's, you have to take that for granted. So understand, failure is a natural part of any growth, learning, creation, creative process. So don't be discouraged. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be failures. There's going to be drawbacks. Whatever it is, just view them as opportunities for growth, because that's what they are. And another thing that helps when you're picking up a new creation, a new learning skill, is to try to find a community or any support group that will keep you on check. Find like-minded individuals and try to have them, share the same interest, whether it's online forums, clubs, Facebook groups, local classes, whatever it is. Just find a group or a couple of buddies or a baking buddy that can motivate you and keep you on track. And lastly is celebrating the progress and celebrating the successes, because the success is the progress. There is no success. What are you going to do? Be the top Japanese speaker in the world? It's not about that. It's about the learning. You're not going to be Da Vinci tomorrow. So it's about the growth. Okay? So that's what it is. Just celebrate just the fact that you're on track. Just the fact that you're doing it. Give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate that progress that you're doing. So we went over all the elements of how to create. We talked a little bit about the importance of creation, a little bit about the idea behind growth and expansion. But I want to break it down to the fact that for me, as a transformational coach, as a person that deals with results, and I want to create something new in your life because you're here to develop yourself. We're here in self-development, self-improvement, and creating your reality. Practicing creation is not just a nice idea to have. It's not just good for Alzheimer's and dementia, which it is, but part of it is because it works on the brain and the neuroplasticity of it. So we talked a little bit about firing and wiring, creating new neurotransmitters, new connections. So, of course, engaging in problem-solving skills, memory, overall mental ability, and it creates more muscles in our brain, and that's super important. But for me, practicing creation is not just about that. We're talking about thoughts. We're talking about beliefs. We're talking about emotions. When we practice new creations, new skills, that builds our confidence to the idea, and the confidence to the idea that we can create new thoughts. We can transform our self-being, our self-perception, and the outlook, the overall outlook of life. And once we have that, once we change our identity, then we can change the results, what we're having. So imagine if we're talking about the painting, right? And you're practicing a new painting. Each brush stroke is deliberate. And over time, you see a new painting that you just created. It becomes more clear to you. It's more defined to you. So by consistently, that's a hard word, by consistently creating and nurturing certain type of thoughts, certain type of beliefs, positive thoughts, positive beliefs, positive affirmations, positive sense of being, you construct a new self, a new empowered self. And that creation that you created in your mind will absolutely guaranteed create your new being, your new life, your new relationship, your new reality. So this is my encouragement to you. Don't only look at creation out there as something that's external to you. Any creation that you do out there has a direct impact on the creation that you're doing in here, in your heart and in your mind. So see that as the goal. And once you overcome any challenges, any limiting beliefs you have out there, that will reinforce the challenges and limiting beliefs that you have in here. So instead of the I am not enough, you can push that away and slowly, gradually see how much you are enough, how brilliant you are to overcome. You open the door to a new life of confidence, of new found sense of self, resilience, and just living your unlimited potential. And this is what I am hoping for you to do and become. Because as you know, what no one is coming, the answer is you. And you are the one that is the creator, not only out there, but also in here and in here. So I encourage you to regularly check in with yourself, see what else you can create in the world, in the outside world, as well as the inside world. I hope you got tons of value from this episode. I really thank you for tuning in and watching. And I hope that you share and comment, and feel free to contact me and tell me what else you'd like to talk about and explore. And maybe I can give you some tools and tips so that you can create the best version of you. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.